Hello everyone, Gainer here from HDB Upgrading Strategies, and welcome back to my Facebook Live. And today is episode 15, right? First of all, before I commence, I just want to wish everyone happy Vesak Day, and I hope you guys actually enjoy your weekend, right? And so what's my topic for today, right? In fact, actually, I think my topic today is really something I personally feel that is very interesting, and because this is based on my experiences that I've been helping many different homeowners, and I really find, I actually found a particular trend, right? That is a trend whereby why parents, the grandparents actually, how is it related to the property that you are holding today? So that's why today's topic is actually about this, right? It's about family and property and how is it related, which is my Facebook Live 15 today. Now, so why this topic? I thought that this topic is something that's really very interesting because for me personally, I feel that a lot of people do not take an action today, meaning to say a lot of property homeowners, especially for HDB homeowners, they did not take action today to probably explore to buy a private property, stuff like that. Partly is because of also the influence, right, from their parents and even from their grandparents. And that's why I think today's topic is really interesting. It's not about, today is not really about finances. It's really about, why probably you might not probably want to take an action today. And it is also partly because how it's related to your parents as well. And that's why I thought, I just want to share with you guys this thing, share with my personal story, and from then on, you are able to relate and see whether what I share about the trend, about this trend, whether is it, true or not true, right? But then again, I do understand that, probably it may not be for you, right? Probably you may feel that, hey, this is not something that you feel that is right, right? Once again, there's no right or wrong. It's just based on my personal opinion, and that's why I just want to share with you guys and see whether if it is in fact related to you, right? So first of all, I just want to share about my story, my personal story, right? In fact, let's say me, right? So I will be the husband, right? This is me, husband, and I'll probably talk about my wife, right? This will be my wife, and you'll be able to see whether how is it related. Now, first of all, for me personally, my grandparents, right? My grandparents, I'll put that here, grandparents. Now, when my grandparents actually came to Singapore, right? They actually bought a landed. This is a landed, right? And for my parents, actually, it's actually a HDB. And for me, this is me, actually, I also bought my first property as a HDB, right? I just want to share this trend about my side first, right? This is my parents, my grandparents. My grandparents actually, when they first came to Singapore, they actually invested, they bought a landed property, right? But for some reasons, right, my parents actually bought a HDB flat, right? In fact, they are still staying in my parents' landed previously, but they eventually bought a HDB flat just for rental. It's not for own stay. Now, for me, actually, I bought a HDB, and subsequently, I upgraded to a private property. Now, whereas my wife, if you look at it, my wife, if I'm not wrong, all along their grandparents actually stay in a HDB flat, right? And as for her parents, it's also a HDB flat. And eventually, of course, when we get married, our first property is HDB. Now, if you really understand where I'm coming from, you actually see a particular trend. So I just thought that this trend is something that, my audience, you guys who are watching now, can relate whether is it true or not true, right? Once again, no right, no wrong. It's just based on this, and you guys will see whether, whether is it true, right? Now, if you really look at it, my grandparents stay in a landed, parents stay in a HDB, but it's rented all the while. and for me, I stay in a HDB. Now, what is the difference between me and my wife, right? If you really look at it, my history, right? Actually, all along, I have, I'm always because my grandparents stay in a landed. They are business owners. Even to my parents, my father is a business owner. And if you really look at it, right, somehow I've already been from young. I've already been introduced into private properties, as in landed, into condos, and that is really my trend. Whereas if you really look at my wife's side, they are all along they have been staying their grandparents stay in a HDB, their parents as HDB, and of course our first property we look in a HDB. Now, if you really see in this trend, my wife probably she's not being introduced into the private property market. So in the way, the mindset is a little bit different. Why? Because probably if you look at mine, it's a little bit about taking risks, exploring about private properties, exploring into landed, and somehow in my mind, I'm actually introduced by all these properties right from a very young age, right? Whereas my wife's side, her family tree, if I can say so, she's actually right from the start. They are all staying in HDB flats. Now, at the end, now I'm not trying to say that staying in a HDB flat is definitely wrong. No, please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that because I spoke to many homeowners, and those homeowners who their trend is in this side, they are probably not really very keen into exploring into the private property market. Why is this so? Because the parents will normally will let the mindset being passed down to their kids is normally about you don't have to take risks. Buy a HDB flat is definitely your main choice, right? Why would you want to look in the private property? Because it's expensive, stuff like that. And if you look at it, it's really, I think it makes sense, right? Because at the end of the day, this trend, if you look at my wife's trend, it's all about a roof over the head, right? It's never about investment. Whereas for my side, if you really see, definitely, of course, we are looking roof over the head, but we have a kind of element in terms of investment, right? Property investment. That's why if you look at it, I think that is the difference, right? Now, you might be saying, hey, Gainer, I think probably somehow, my parents all along have been staying in a HDB, but today I'm owning a private property. I do understand where you're coming from. Now, in fact, it's also what I can say is that parents actually gives a big influence, right? A big influence, but it's not entirely, based on this, because at the end of the day, this is you, right? If you go to the society to work, you meet a lot of friends, you see a lot of people buying private properties, you are indirectly being introduced in the market as well, right? And so you probably might break away from the trend from your parents, right? Because your first property can be a private property, right? Stuff like that. And that's why for me and my wife, honestly speaking, my wife, generally she's a person that she's safe. She doesn't want to take risks. She just make sure that everyone is happy, and that's about it, which is not right. I mean, not wrong, right? But for me, I'm a little bit of the risk taker type, right? Although I bought my first HDB with her, but then I have been always looking and exploring when do we have the next opportunity to actually upgrade to a private property, which in fact we did, and it took me a while to actually convince her as well. That's why if you see, for you guys, now you probably will realize that you have some issues, looking to private. Why? Because probably your husband or your spouse, don't really want to look at it because they are probably in this trend, right? Which is the very safe type, which doesn't want to take risks, stuff like that. And that's why I can understand. And why I'm able to share with you this trend is because I think I've been speaking to many homeowners, and I realized that indirectly, if you really see, somehow or rather, is correlated. Now, at the end of the day, you might not agree, but I just want to say one thing, because you are maybe in this category, but at the end of the day, you bought a private property. or probably it can be your first property, right? But I just want to let you know, because when you are earning money and you want to buy your first property, there will be a lot of different factors, right? Different factors that you face. Maybe because of your friends, maybe because you realize that your parents have been like that, and you are influenced by some of your friends, your colleagues, stuff like that, or why they are buying private properties and why you're not. And so you're influenced by many factors, right? And eventually you take this choice. You take this choice into buying this private property. So I just want to share with you this thing, because I felt that this is extremely important for you to understand. Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying that you must buy a private property, so don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that it's important to understand whether first, should you really explore. Some people have not been exploring at all. Some people has been just looking in just HDB as their entire properties, their whole life, that kind of thing. So I think that it's important that it starts to explore a little bit, understand a little bit, because eventually there are many factors as to why people also will buy, because you have to look about your own finances as well, because at the end of the day, you have to work it out, make sure you are able to afford it, then you are able to look at it. It is always very important to really think first whether can you afford it, right? But the thing is that should you explore the opportunity of looking whether should you buy a private or not, right? At the end of the day, it's really up to you guys. But why I want to share with you this topic is because I think this topic is just only a thinker for you guys to think whether should you start to explore, right? Not for you to take an action, but for you to just explore and see whether whether is it right for you. Then we touch about the finances, because I have met many homeowners, a lot of people, especially the husband and the wife, they probably don't agree whether should they make that step or or probably they should not move forward to buy a property just because of this trend, right? And it's based on their character, stuff like that. That's why I think today's topic is something that I feel maybe I just want to share with everyone. At least you have some thinkers, at least you will understand a little bit, and from then on, we will see how is it goes, right? So I think this is a very short live video which I thought that I want to share with you guys about this topic. At the end of the day, just understand whether what is the best option for you guys, especially for when you are around the mid-30s or the mid-40s, and this is a very crucial stage. Should you buy a resale HDB or should you buy a condo? That kind of thing. So at the end of the day, look at all the different factors before you make a decision. Alright, with that, thank you so much for you guys watching this video. I hope you guys like it. And at the end of the day, in this video, probably just drop me some comments so that I will be able to help you guys to answer it. And thank you so much. Have a nice weekend. Goodbye.